Hello, everyone, and thanks for listening to the Quality Hub, chatting with ISO experts. I'm your host, Xavier Francis, and today I'm here with Ty Elliot, consultant at Core Business Solutions, and I'm so glad you could be here, Ty.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to join in. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we're really glad that you're here, and this week's podcast is called What is ISO 27001? And we're going to have several podcasts this year entitled What Is, where we'll take sort of a newbie approach to several ISO standards for people who need to kind of get their feet wet and are unsure about what a standard is, what it covers, and things like that. But before we begin, Ty's here with us, and we'd love to hear a little bit about his experience. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ty?
Sure. So I started my journey in information security working on NIST 800-171 in preparation for the CMMC rollout, which is very applicable to any of our government supplying listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I moved on to ISO 27001. And they do differ a bit. NIST 800-171 has a lot of individual bullet points for technical implementation, where 27001 is more focused on the system overall, with those solutions being tailored to the organization's risks and needs as applicable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know ISO takes that more, this is what you got to do. We don't care how you do it, where the government's going to be like, this is how you do it.
Yep. You got it.
But they have a lot of the same concepts and needs in them, correct?
They do. They have a lot of commonality and overlap.
That was more succinct than I would have put it. So let's start with, we're going to start with basic. We're looking at ISO 27001, as you said, which is an ISMS. What is ISO 27001, and is it worth it?
Yes. So ISO 27001 uses the ISMS, or an information security management system. So similar to a quality management system, which might support ISO 9001 in the quality management of a product or service provided to your customer,
Mm-hmm.
the ISMS creates a structure that's focused on the risks associated with technology, data, and the people in your organization using technology.
So I noticed it didn't say it was a cybersecurity, but an information security, which information doesn't just pass digitally. It often does these days, but this really anything can transfer information. Paper, you might even speak it. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Any format that information is shared, however much of these days is digital, this does cover cyber as well. So other things outside of your emails, your digital files, also includes things like paper prints and diagrams. Now, the areas of focus that are covered in ISO 27001 include employee information security awareness training, securing your customer data, and creating a system to respond to an information security incident.
Okay. Now, those seem like a pretty good place to start. So kind of know what ISO does in the form of 27001, securing your information, some cybersecurity, those types of things. What's the return on investment? Is it worth it for a company to get involved in ISO 27001?
Sure. If we're considering the ISMS as an investment for your organization, return on investment points include new opportunities with customers that require ISO 27001, reductions in cybersecurity insurance rates, and preventing and reducing the downtime associated with an incident.
That definitely is pretty good. I mean, when you're coming into a business point of view, you're like, okay, what kind of money is this going to make us? This really isn't about how it's going to make money. It's almost how it's going to save you money from those things that you said that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
You could have cyber breaches. How much is that going to put you out of work or not have you be productive? If you have a lawsuit because you let employee or customer information out in the wild, what are you going to have to pay to do that? So the return on investment is almost a security perspective more than it's going to make me money.
Correct? Yeah. Yep. It's going to prepare the company. We all hope that a cyber incident never happens, but if it does, you'll know exactly what the plan is to respond to it, what kind of evidence you need to collect, and the appropriate authorities you might have to contact or seek assistance from.
And that's going to be planned out in advance, so you're not guessing.
Correct.
And
Yes, all in advance, all prepared.
You're going to have a way to respond,
Mhm.
respond plan. Well, those are really good things that can come from, getting certified in ISO 27001. Now, some people might ask, do I need ISO 9001, which you mentioned, which is a quality management system, to get certified in ISO 27001?
Sure. So an organization does not need to have an ISO 9001 compliant quality management system to seek ISO 27001 certification. You can get both of these standards as a standalone certification, but an information security management system can be combined with the quality management system to become an integrated management system. And many organizations may find it beneficial to implement these two in tandem.
So I am aware that we do work with many organizations that get an IMS, an integrated management system. When it seems, I know when I've been doing some research for us at least, 9001 and 27001 often do go together, especially when it comes to people that really do need to secure information and they want that and they have a need for quality management. So 27001 is important. What about for its importance for government contracts? Some people might ask, is this going to help me get a contract with the government or keep one?
Yeah, so the ISO 27001 is a prestigious international certification. In competitive bidding scenarios, having that 27001 certification can give your company an edge over your competitors who might not have such a certification.
Okay.
It showcases your commitment to maintaining robust information security practices, really to prove to your customer that you're committed to not only protecting their data, but keeping yourself operational to be able to service their needs. Also, in the context of scoring for government contract bids, having that ISO 27001 certification can directly impact certain evaluation criteria. While exact scoring systems may vary across different government agencies and contracts, points are often given when a company has one or more ISO certifications.
So that really does help you with, getting more points, making people, the government, I should say in this case, aware that you know how to deal with this. You've got things in place. We're dealing with information and cybersecurity issues. Who all in our company is going to be involved when it comes to ISO 27001?
Sure. When we think about cybersecurity or information security, we mostly think of the IT department. But while your IT department will be leading the effort to implement the ISMS, everyone in the company will be involved with information security. Think about the sales team that receives email inquiries every day. Mixed in with legitimate emails are likely to be phishing attempts and other malicious technical and social engineering attacks.
That's true. We've seen that here.
It's becoming more and more common, not just for businesses, but on a personal level. So even just supplying your employees with that awareness training, is going to improve their chances of remaining secure in their personal lives.
Absolutely. It really can make a difference when it comes to stopping attacks. And I know you mentioned just then and previously about employee training. And I can certainly see where knowing, what to spot in that email, it can make a huge impact. And you sort of touched on this, but many say, doesn't our IT department handle all of that? I mean, it's something that I really don't need to deal with, isn't it?
Well, departments outside of IT are going to have a heavy focus on information security, especially for HR and anybody involved in a design and development team.
Okay, that makes sense.
So HR will need to ensure that new employees are screened and properly vetted, and typically manage the cybersecurity training program. Design and development must consider information security requirements, for example, when planning out a new product.
Yeah, you certainly don't want somebody hopping in and getting your designs.
Especially for our listeners who may be involved in software development. There's a lot of considerations for ensuring that data transactions are secure, so to prevent things like man-in-the-middle attack. While IT can help handle outside intrusions or penetration attacks, human error is still the highest point of vulnerability to information security. Bad actors specifically target people and their goodwill, like opening a door for a stranger, to do something that they normally wouldn't question when they get a text or an email from somebody posing as the boss, the company president, human resources, or even IT.
Yeah, I know that there's been times where they get a hold of a person and say, hey, I'm Joe from IT. I know you're new here. we were having some trouble with your account. Can I get your password? Boom.
Hmm.
You're new. You're thinking, okay, sure, Joe, no problem. So moving on, is ISO 27001 obtainable for small businesses? I mean, this seems like a lot for a small business.
Hmm. So just like ISO 9001, the ISO 27001 standard takes into account the size, complexity, and overall risks of a business. A small business may not need the advanced technical tools that a global corporation might require, but there are areas that every person, let alone a business, needs to secure. Even if you only have a handful of employees, their personal information needs to be secure.
That's true.
Especially things like your customer information, credit cards, billing info, they need to be secure as well. It all comes down to evaluating your risks and addressing them appropriately.
Just because you're not dealing with HIPAA information, which is another subject, or you're dealing with governmental information, which you may or may not be, you still have information that you want to keep secure for the people that you work with and work for. So is there anything else you can think of that we should know about when it comes to ISO 27001, especially for someone who's just getting started and trying to figure out what all this is?
I think the best piece of advice I can give for starting an information security management system for a standard like ISO 27001 is to find somebody or a source that can explain these technical items in layman's terms. Even if you're a techie and you work with this stuff every day, there are a lot of individual controls still, and just tackling them and understanding the needs and how they can be met is going to help your progress tremendously.
To me, when I read through some of this stuff in 27001, it's sort of like when you get something from a lawyer and you're looking at going, let me read that again. Wait, let me read it again. I'm not quite sure. I think this is what they mean. Well, if you get that wrong and, you're audited for your certification, it's like, that's not the approach you want. So having somebody that can really help you with those technical terms, with those concepts that they're talking about when it comes to securing something down can really make a difference.
Yeah, especially if they can provide recommendations that are already tried and true that'll be accepted by the certification bodies.
Really great information here, Ty. I appreciate you being here and sharing this with us. Really, really, really good insight on all this stuff for 27001.
It's been my pleasure to join in the podcast today. I look forward to hearing some upcoming episodes and maybe joining back in sometime in the future.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have you back again. We want to thank everyone who's listened to our podcast today. We hope it's been informative for you and you have something you can take away from it. Now, if you're looking for more information about core business solutions and how we can help you with ISO certification like 27001 or cybersecurity or even customized training, please email us at info@thecoresolution.com. or you can visit our website at www.thecoresolution.com. And if you haven't followed us already on your favorite podcast platform, be sure to do so. That way you won't miss the next Quality Hub podcast when it's released next week. Have a great day, everyone.